Okay, my beautiful calculus students, let's keep rolling. This is the integral of cosecant x with respect to x, and we just did the secant x, so this is not going to come as a surprise to you. The cosecant of x is the same as 1 over the sine of x. However, if I were to switch this to just 1 over the sine of x, kind of looks like a 1 over u. I'm just missing my du because the derivative of sine x, which is cosine x, is not sitting in my problem anywhere. So it makes it a little difficult to try and apply u substitution to this because my du is not sitting there nicely. So what I'm going to do is we're going to create another binomial over binomial right there, and it's going to make my u substitution come into play a little more easily. So I am going to multiply by cosecant x plus cotangent x. Cosecant x plus cotangent x. This question definitely mimics example 7. Okay? I'm going to multiply out the numerator. I'm going to leave the denominator alone. Cosecant of x plus cotangent of x. When I multiply cosecant x times cosecant x, I get cosecant squared x. And when I multiply cosecant x by cotangent x, I get cosecant x cotangent x. Okay, at this point, you should be able to recognize that if you let your u be this denominator, cosecant x plus cotangent of x, its derivative is sitting up on the numerator here, but we're off by a constant multiple. What is the derivative of cosecant x? That should be negative cosecant x cotangent x, but I have a positive here. What is the derivative of cotangent x? That should be negative cosecant squared x, but I have a positive here. And since I'm off by both negatives, I will be off by one common negative symbol, so I am off by a common factor. So I'm going to go to the side, and I'm going to say let u equal cosecant of x plus cotangent of x. And then my du is just what the thought process was a second ago here. The derivative of cosecant x is negative cosecant x cotangent of x plus sign, I'm copying, and the derivative of cotangent x is negative cosecant squared x. All of this with respect to x. Okay? Now it's almost what I have on my numerator, except I don't have these negative symbols. So I'm going to factor this negative out first. I'm going to factor the negative out. I'll have cosecant x cotangent x plus cosecant squared x with respect to x. And I guess I will use a bracket right there. And this is still my du. And what I need is to get rid of this negative. So I divide both sides by -1. And I get negative du is equal to what's left inside my brackets here. Cosecant x cotangent x plus cosecant squared x with respect to x. And I'm hoping you can see that that's right there on my numerator. It is on my numerator, but it's backwards. So if you really felt like having to write it again, I would hope that you could take a couple of these steps in one. But the cosecant squared x is written first over there, and then the cosecant x cotangent x with respect to x. This step is not necessary. I just want to have it verbatim so you can see exactly that this whole thing, including the dx, is my negative du. And this is my u. So this is the integral of, my u is on the denominator. I have a -1 on the numerator, or negative du. I'm going to put my negative on the outside, my du here, and we'll keep the 1 on top. This goes right back to theorem 5.5. This is now the negative natural log of the absolute value of u plus a constant because I have an indefinite integral that I'm playing with. So this is negative natural log of the absolute value of, bring your u back in, cosecant of x plus cotangent of x. And your absolute value plus your c, and box your answer. Okay? let's go ahead and do the check, just so we can have practice on doing some algebra with some trig functions, okay? Just let's practice the check. So the check says to take the derivative with respect to x of what that was in the box here. Negative natural log of the absolute value of cosecant x plus cotangent of x plus c. All right, I'm going to take the derivative of the negative natural log of my power here. So this negative is going to be copied. I have a fraction. My power goes to the denominator, cosecant x plus cotangent of x. And on the numerator goes the derivative of the power I just put on the denominator. So the derivative of cosecant x ends up being a negative cosecant x cotangent x plus sign, copied. And now the derivative of cotangent x is a negative cosecant squared x. The derivative of any constant is 0. So there's my plus 0. So I have a negative on the outside. I have this binomial on the denominator, so I'm just going to copy cosecant x plus cotangent of x. On the numerator, I'm going to factor out this negative sign right here. So I factor out that negative, and I'll have cosecant of x cotangent of x plus, that negative gets factored out here, cosecant squared of x. So negative divided by a negative, or negative times a negative, gives you a positive. So I'm going to circle those two and put a plus sign here. You notice that you have a cosecant x common on your numerator. We're going to factor that out, cosecant of x. We're going to factor that out from both of these terms. I'll be left with a cotangent x, copy my plus sign, and if I factor out a cosecant x from a cosecant squared x, I'm left with the other one, cosecant x, all over cosecant x plus cotangent x. And your denominator is the same thing as what's in these brackets up on the numerator. It's just turned around. So this can divide off and give you 1s, and you're left with cosecant of x, which was the original question way up here for my integram. So this checks, and I'm good to go. And okay. Alrighty. Let's move on to example 9. I think, before I do that, example 7 and example 8 leave us to a couple of formulas that I don't think I wrote on the board earlier. Okay? So example 7 was the fact that the integral of the secant of x with respect to x, the integral of secant x with respect to x, is going to be given as the natural log of the absolute value of secant of x plus tangent of x plus c. And example 8 we just finished is going to give us the fact that the integral of cosecant of x with respect to x is going to equal the negative natural log of the absolute value of cosecant of x plus cotangent of x plus c. And like I did in the previous videos, these are two formulas, and they're individual formulas, so I'll bubble them individually. Okay? These are two formulas that are printed in the front of your calc book, so you can memorize them or make sure that you can know how to derive them when the time comes. Alright. We'll stop there, and I'll go ahead and fill up a couple more videos for you for examples 9, 10, and so on. Alright? Talent out.